It used to be that Alec and Baron Bresky, 7-year-old twins from New Orleans, would cry themselves to sleep every night.
I'm gonna leave like that. Can I help you?
Their mom, Amy Bresky, says she didn't know what to say to calm her kids who had lost their home in Hurricane Katrina.
I was just very upset because every single night at bedtime it was this try to comfort, but how do you comfort?
So Amy, along with her husband Kyle, decided to move their kids away from their temporary home near New Orleans to Madison, where they have plenty of cousins their age. Now, all Baron and Alec are thinking about is the snowman they're going to build once the snow falls.
Last time we did that, but it broke. It fell and it broke. No.
It's hard to imagine that a family of 5 who's lost everything would find anything to be thankful for this Thanksgiving. But the Breskys say Hurricane Katrina reminded them of what really matters most.
Yeah, we lost pretty much everything in our house, but we didn't lose any family members, and it makes you realize how important family is.
The Breskys say their kids are going to bed happy again and are doing great in a good school. And thanks to the generosity of complete strangers in the Madison area, their family is getting back on their feet.
There have been so many people who have helped us out on this journey.
Most of the Reed family lived in New Orleans when Katrina struck.
That whole area is devastated.
Bernice Reed says a good deal of them lived in this apartment complex that now lies in ruins.
Out of my cousins that were there, myself, and their children that still live there, we lost 22 homes. Yes.
It was more than 2 months before the Reeds were able to get back into what was left of their homes. Before that, all they had were these pictures.
This is the opening to my bedroom, and that's the ceiling of the bedroom.
You'd think that much loss would leave a person depressed, but not these girls. Bernice, her sister Audrey, and her mom Geraldine all say Madison's people have done so much to make them feel at home, they couldn't be happier with where they've ended up.
The outpouring of
goodness is just amazing to me.
It's overwhelming.
I've never had that, not in New Orleans.
For that reason, all 3 women say they'll be staying in Madison. Bernice and Audrey are already trying to find jobs, and when they find them, they say they'll feel perfectly at home here as long as they have each other.
Home is where the heart is, and if you have love in that home, you have a home.
The Breskys say they're not sure where they'll end up, but they do know that the outpouring of support they've received from the people here has been beyond their wildest dreams.
More than I would ever dream. People would just give. It's just been amazing.
A recent Gallup poll shows 56% of Americans want to lose weight, most to look better. But doctors say the health effects of obesity are a far more serious concern. It's time to separate the fact from the fat and give you the truth about obesity.
Carl Davis and Edith Thayer are discovering the words fat and fit have many meanings.
I've never been really super overweight, but like I've said, over the years, you gain a pound or 2 a year, and then you never do anything about it.
I am not an exercise workout kind of person. If I never had to do anything more than lift a cup of coffee to my lips, I would not be unhappy.
So when both were told they were at a high risk for developing type 2 diabetes, they decided to search for the truth about fat and fit.
Okay, Carl, we're going to measure your waist circumference.
Here's what they learned. Myth number 1, obesity is determined by your weight.
Your weight is not the optimal measure for long-term health.
UW-Madison nutritional scientist Dale Scheller says where the fat is on your body is a better indicator.
Men and women who carry the fat around the waist and specifically inside around your vital organs usually have a much higher incidence of chronic disease as they age.
Cardiologist James Stein says what we call love handles are connected to diabetes, heart attacks, and strokes.
If your waist is over 35 inches and you're a woman, or it's over 40 inches and you're a man, you're at increased risk for the complications of being overweight.
And a family history of diabetes or heart disease puts you at a higher risk. Myth number 2, the negative effects of obesity can't kill you. Registered dietitian Gail Underbaki says diabetes can speed up the development of more life-threatening diseases.
People who are more overweight have higher levels of inflammation, and that's a factor in the development of heart disease and probably a lot of other chronic diseases as well.
Myth number 3, you must lose a lot to make a difference.
If you're overweight, if you're obese, any weight loss on the order, as I say, of 5 to 10% will improve health.
For someone who weighs 200 pounds, that can mean losing as few as 10 pounds.
But when they lost that much and exercised, they reduced their blood sugar to normal levels.
And finally, the myth, what you eat matters most. Now, it's true, eating matters, but exercise may matter more. Carl and Edith joined the Active Living and Learning program at UW Hospital. Participants meet once a week for 12 weeks and work out together.
People are always saying, you have to find something you like to do. No, you don't. You have to find something you're willing to do.
And Carl writes down everything he eats.
By writing it all down, you can tell what the trends are and what you're doing wrong and how you can tweak it so you just don't need to eat like you used to.
And I figure this will ensure that I'll maybe have a pretty good quality of life. And I have kids and grandchildren, and I want to be around to enjoy them.
Several healthcare providers are covering the ALL program for patients, including Physicians Plus, Group Health, and Unity. Patients do need to meet several requirements and undergo some tests. Of course, if you're interested, you should talk to your doctor.
Someone in the United States is diagnosed with colorectal cancer, and every 9 minutes someone dies from it. Survivors of the disease say it's different from other types of cancer because early detection is just a test away. Melissa Wallering has the story of one woman who waited too long to be tested.
Becky, she waited nearly 6 months before asking doctors to check out a lump below her stomach. Fortunately, a series of new treatments being tested right here in Madison has given Bella Vininsky a fighting chance.
16 years ago, we dropped everything in Russia. Came here from zero. So it's hard.
Mark and Bella Vinitsky have held on through dozens of hardships during 37 years of marriage. Both lead busy lives running 2 businesses in Rockford, Illinois.
It was very active. Like, 2 jobs, night job, daycare provider. I was for many years.
Even with all the work, Bella took time to exercise and eat right.
Especially my age, I was like, okay, something needs to be when you're almost 60.
So when she found a lump near her stomach, she held off from seeing her doctor for nearly half a year.
I was at home, I was watching a movie, and he just called me and he said, you know what, sorry, but I think it's cancer.
She had a tumor right here in the descending colon. The tumor then invaded the blood and then traveled up to the liver. And she had multiple spots in the liver where she had cancer.
Bella had stage 4 colon cancer, considered by many to be a terminal illness.
I was shocked for 5 minutes, and then I said, okay, what can I do now?
Bella's doctors in Rockford referred her to UW's Comprehensive Cancer Center, where she signed on to an experimental clinical trial combining aggressive chemotherapy and surgery.
We going to chemo. I didn't tell she going. We going to surgery, we going to chemo, we.
My husband and son, yeah, there of course I was scared, they were even crying first time. And I said, no, we're not going to cry, we're going to fight.
After 8 rounds of chemo, Bella's experimental treatment started working.
This combination shrunk her tumor by 75%. Because it shrunk her tumor down so much, we were able to then, after the chemotherapy, go in and remove her tumors from the liver and remove her primary cancer at the same time. Hands up. Good job.
Thank you.
Bella is now considered cancer-free, although Dr. Holland says there's always a chance the disease can return. She frequently returns to UW for checkups and insists her fighting attitude gave her a fighting chance.
It's been a huge benefit to her. We know for a fact that people who keep a positive outlook and people who have a lot of hope during their treatments do better than people that do not.
Every month it's a gift with this kind of, cancer. And if you got even a little hope, why not use it?
Now, Bella had no family history of colon cancer, but those that do are at 5 times greater risk for developing it. Bella says she can't stress enough the importance of getting screened early and often. Of course, doctors agree, and UW's Comprehensive Cancer Center says it is on the cutting edge of many new treatments for cancer. And if you're interested in finding out whether you or someone you know qualifies for one of their many clinical trials, you can give them a call.
And they're such a cute couple, and she, I think, is the most upbeat person I've ever met.
She is. She never had a negative thought in her
Right.
mind. It was always, let's fight, fight, fight. And
Yeah.
sure enough, she did.
So happy for her. Okay, thanks, Melissa. Great story.